but they had a way of treating me like I was really and truly one of the family, clear from my first day here. My eyes had begun to open up in more ways than one. The way they talked to God, for instance. Why, it was downright astonishing at times. Oh, I'd heard them say blessings over the meals off and on through the years, but family devotions and the prayers that followed were brand new to me, ever so joyful. And what singing! 3- and 4-part harmonies filled the house every evening after supper. My guitar had found a temporary home, and so had my broken heart. Answering to Catherine instead of Katie took some getting used to, for sure and for certain. There was no easy way to change something as comfortable as your own first name, just because one day you up and decided you were someone new. Still, I was determined to try. Sometimes Lydia had to call me 2 or 3 times to catch my attention. I suppose it wasn't so much the sound of Catherine that threw me off. It was latching on to what the name stood for that was the biggest struggle. For truth, I belonged to someone who'd never known the Ordnung and its confining practices, someone who understood all about the busy modern world I'd missed out on. My birth mother, Laura Mayfield Bennett, she was my true kin. And if I could trust what I'd been told, the woman was dying of some Greischlich, dreadful disease. I needed to act quickly, but the fear in my heart was powerful strong. At first, it held me fast, even kept me from learning to drive a car or from trying out the telephone hanging high on the wall in Lydia's kitchen. But there was something I didn't hesitate on, something no amount of fear could keep me from doing. Cousin Lydia drove me to town and dropped me off at the prettiest beauty shop I'd ever seen. Of course, I'd never darkened the door of one before, just looked from a distance and wished. Didn't have an appointment, but they took me right in and cut and styled my hair just the same. Glory be, what freedom I felt when the scissors started snipping away at my long, uneven locks that had never been cut my whole life long. Well, the weight of the world fell right off me, in a heap of auburn hair all over the floor. I shook my head and the air swooshed through it, clear to my scalp, and I asked myself why on earth I'd waited so long for something so awful nice. The answer was bound up in rules and expectations, same as my waist-length locks, tied up in a knot under a veiled covering all these years. But there was no need for me to be carrying around a head full of long, too thick hair any more. I was free to do whatever I pleased with it, and my face. Clothes, too, a wonderful good feeling. Staring in the mirror, I saw Catherine Mayfield's painted lips smiling back at me. When she whispered, "How do you do?" I heard the refined sound of her English voice in my ears. Still, it would take some practice to get it right every time.